The test drive car I am currently in is the 1.6 gasoline turbo model, just to be clear. The trim is the Inspiration trim, and no, it's not the N-Line. The new Tucson is a facelift model. I previously got a first look at this design at the Hyundai Motor Studio when it was launched. So, in this session, I'll just briefly summarize the design and then move on quickly. So, let's talk about the driving experience right away. Now, as the new Tucson is a facelift model with product enhancements, the design changes aren't incredibly dramatic, but if you examine it closely, you'll find quite a few significant updates. First, looking at the exterior front, you'll notice changes in the number and intricate design details of the daytime running lights. The grille and bumper designs also changed. Its specified size is almost identical to before. Its overall length grew by 10 mm to 4,640 mm. This is likely part of the design changes. From the side, the updated wheel design stands out most. And at the rear, the upper section hasn't changed drastically, but upon closer inspection, the emblem has been recessed, allowing for a significantly wider range of motion for the rear wiper. Also, the design of the lower bumper skid plate has been changed. Previously, that area featured diamond-shaped patterns, but this new model has removed them, presenting a significantly more concise and polished appearance. And when you step inside, the interior space shows quite a lot of changes compared to the exterior. Recently, new cars from Hyundai and Kia have been using this curved display monitor a lot. The new Tucson also utilizes this same approach. By adopting this common display style, it seems the distinct interior personality of each vehicle has been somewhat reduced. However, with the integration of the new CCNC system, I am presently utilizing wireless Apple CarPlay to display navigation through TMAP. On the first page, the information is presented in these three divided sections. If you swipe across, you'll find a wide array of diverse items. Both the graphics and icons, as well as the fonts, exhibit excellent visibility and a rather pleasing design. It also has a cinema function, but you can't use it while driving. The built-in cam is the version that records audio as well. It's also generously packed with the latest convenience features like eHigh Pass and Digital Key 2. As for driver assistance, it doesn't go as far as including Highway Driving Assist 2. The drive modes consist of Basic, Eco, Normal, Sport, and My Drive. In My Drive mode, you can choose one of 4 powertrain settings and either Normal or Sport for the steering. And it's bright now, so you can't see, but a mood lamp is also included. Paired with this monitor, the previous air vents encircled in a rounded manner, but these new air vents are positioned lower. Additionally, a convenient storage compartment has been integrated into the front of the dashboard for holding various items. Since the overall layout consistently follows a horizontal theme, it definitely creates the visual impression that the vehicle is a bit broader. And unlike recent Kia models, the media controls are positioned above, while the climate controls have been separately arranged below with dedicated buttons. Below that, there are 2 USB-C ports. There's also a 12-volt outlet, and since the center console is now a floating type, it has created this spacious area underneath. It's great for storing larger items. It's also divided into sections and even has an anti-slip function. Above that, buttons for drive mode, auto hold, and the camera are located at the front. And next to the smartphone wireless charging pad, there's a cup holder. Of course, you shouldn't be looking at your smartphone while driving, but this spot is quite good for a quick check when you're briefly stopped. And the storage space inside the armrest isn't particularly large in itself, but it does go in quite deeply. The steering wheel horn cover design has also been updated. The Machen logo is gone, replaced by a simple design, much like the Ioniq models. Also, the gear selector, which was a button type, has been changed to this electronic column shifter that Hyundai has been frequently using. Also, I'll revisit quietness later, but the double-layered acoustic glass now covers not only the windshield, but the front door windows as well. And if you opt for the N-Line, both the exterior and the interior space will transform into a much more dynamic appearance, featuring N-Line logos and distinctive red stitching. Now, for the drive, the 1.6 gasoline turbo delivers 180 horsepower. Its maximum torque is 27.0. The vehicle's overall quietness has improved from before. However, upon acceleration, the engine's sound enters the cabin quite sportily, not unpleasantly. 180 horsepower maximum output at 5,500 RPM. However, since the maximum torque is delivered between 1,500 and 4,000 RPM, its initial acceleration response is also quite good. The transmission uses a 7-speed DCT. Honestly, I personally lean towards the torque converter type, but as Hyundai has accumulated more experience handling DCTs, they seem to be getting the tuning parameters quite well refined. The current test drive vehicle features 19-inch tires and a two-wheel drive drivetrain. The curb weight is 1,575 kilograms, and it's rated for a combined fuel economy of 12.5 kilometers per liter. Okay, I'm going to reset the fuel economy now, and let's see what the real-world fuel economy turns out to be. Now, to be fair, while these output and torque figures don't necessarily scream high performance or a completely sporty character, but in everyday driving conditions, it's sufficiently lively and effortlessly manageable to operate just like this. This 1.6 turbo, even though it's an engine widely used by Hyundai and Kia, seems to take on a slightly different character depending on the specific vehicle it's installed in. However, the fundamental performance certainly feels more than sufficient to move a vehicle of this size. Indeed, this facelift model didn't really introduce performance enhancements, but instead focused on significant improvements in both its quietness and overall ride comfort, making it a much smoother experience. And among those, the quietness has improved quite a bit. Before, it was quite challenging to overcome the inherent limitations of a compact SUV, wasn't it? But with these partial changes, by paying more attention to the NVH aspect, it certainly feels like the product quality has been further enhanced. Given the application of double-layered acoustic glass, not only on the windshield but also extending to the front door windows, you're bound to experience a distinct enhancement in quietness when driving in the front row, specifically in both the driver's and passenger's seats. The wind noise from the front is also very well suppressed, and there's no noticeable harshness coming from the pillars or anywhere else. Furthermore, the underbody noise is effectively suppressed. However, quite interestingly, the engine sound itself. Perhaps to appeal to a younger, more modern sensibility, a significant amount of the engine sound makes its way into the cabin. It's not a rough engine noise heard constantly during normal driving, but rather it adds a satisfying auditory experience when accelerating. And as for the ride comfort, this vehicle overall isn't exactly delivering a super soft or smooth movement. The damping stroke isn't very long, it's quite short, but it still manages to deliver a somewhat bouncy feel, if you know what I mean. However, instead of hitting the absolute limit harshly, there's a sensation that it somewhat softly absorbs the impact at the very end. So, in terms of ride comfort, it isn't lacking. Instead, it's a setting that can provide quite a bit of satisfaction. For reference, while there's almost no change in the specification size for this facelift model, the Tucson got significantly bigger and wider during its last full model change. Therefore, the entire occupant space, not just the first row but the second row as well, has become plenty spacious. With the first row seat adjusted to about the B pillar, the second row space offers ample legroom and headroom for an adult man to sit comfortably. Also, the seat itself can recline further back, allowing for a much more comfortable seating position. They've also put considerable thought into the convenience aspects, and the cargo space itself is quite generous even prior to folding down the rear seats. If you lift the cover on the floor, you can use some additional storage space, and when you fold down the rear seats, you gain access to such an expansive area that it's genuinely hard to categorize this vehicle as merely a compact SUV. On this occasion, we've been driving the new Tucson 1.6 gasoline turbo, which came with more changes than anticipated. The Tucson is quite a popular Hyundai SUV, not only in Korea, but also globally. I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing how successful this new Tucson, which has truly enhanced its marketability as the name implies, will be. Thank you for watching.